Do you want to know how to respond when kids say, "That's not fair"? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, and education, all through the lens of the principles self-government. And in this video, we're talking about parent responses that do better than others. In this video, we're going to talk about why they say it's not fair or that's not fair. And then we're going to talk a little bit about fairness and what our children need to understand about fairness, and then how you can respond to those types of statements in productive ways. I remember saying to my parents, "But that's not fair. So-and-so got to do that. I want to do that. Or the neighbor's doing that. My friend's doing that. Why can't I watch that movie? Why can't I eat that snack? Why can't I?" Everyone loves fair. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a child or whether you're an adult. There's something that just speaks to the person about fair. And I think it's that principle of justice. So fairness is not actually a principle that is easy to live because it can be classified in a lot of different ways. In fact, it's very subjective. So justice is a principle. We get very bent on justice, and we start utilizing the concept of fair to drive home this concept of justice. But fair and justice aren't always the same thing. In fact, I remember saying to my dad, "Well, that's not fair." And my dad would say, "Well, life's not fair. If life were fair, we'd all be poor. Or if life were fair, we'd all be rich." He would throw out some "everyone would be," because if life was fair and if everything was completely equitable, which is a super common word that people use nowadays, if things were completely fair and equitable, then that would mean that if one person was taller than everyone else, then I would have to chop off part of their leg because they have an advantage on the basketball court. And that makes no sense, does it? We're all different. That's actually a principle that we live. And so what we have to understand with fairness and what we have to teach our children with fairness is that life absolutely isn't fair. That's for a reason. And we all excel right where we are. We're all unique. We're all different. And because of that, we choose what's right for that person, not necessarily what's fair for that person. So there is a difference between what is right developmentally for somebody and what is fair. This also means that an older child might get told no to do something like to watch a movie, but a younger child later on in life, the parents have this last one that's at home and they say, "Yes, you can watch that movie." Is it fair? Or is it right? Well, let's examine that. If I told my oldest children, which I did, my oldest two children did not watch as many movies as my youngest two children did. And there's a reason for that. And that's because when the oldest two children were the same age as my youngest two children were when they got to see the movies, there were still younger children. So see, if I was going to be completely fair to my younger children, then I could not expose my older children to something a younger child didn't see. That when my older children were younger, they didn't get the opportunity to see. So I had to be fair in one way to do what was right for all of the children, especially those younger ones. I had to watch out for them. But when the younger ones got a little bit older, could they see that movie because there was no younger children that would accidentally see it as well? Yeah, then it was okay. And before you have any concerns about our movie watching in the Peck household, we really were a clean movie watching family. We didn't even watch rated R movies, anything like that, even when our children got way older. So just so you know, a little tip, a little extra FYI about movie watching. So what do you do? How do you respond when they say it's not fair? Hopefully you've done this pre-teaching about fairness and you don't go into some big lecture and tell them they're wrong. Because when they feel like something isn't fair, what they're saying is, "Please explain to me why this is happening in a way that feels different from what I think should happen." That's really what they're telling you. So you should take the time to actually do those explanations. Number one most important thing you can do is make sure you have a tone of calmness and understanding. Don't be offended when they use that term. There is a skill for gaining understanding that you can teach them. It's one of our 4 basic skills of self-government. So these children's books, you see me talk about these a lot on the channel, they each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. This book here, Page Takes the Stage, teaches how to disagree appropriately. If you teach your children the skill for how to disagree appropriately, that will actually help them be understood without having to whine or complain. The steps to disagreeing appropriately are to look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say that you understand the other person's point of view, share your point of view, listen to what they have to say okay, and then drop the subject. So when a person disagrees appropriately, they seek to understand, then to be understood. When a person says, that's not fair, they actually have something that they do want to understand, but they also want someone to understand something about them. And that's why they say that, but their voice tone is definitely not calm, and they're not going about it the right way. So you need to stay calm. That's the first thing in response. After you stay calm, then you're going to want to direct your child to use the skill that they already know. So you might say something like, right now, you are wanting to talk about fairness regarding the last cookie in the cookie jar. And I'm happy to talk with you about that, but you need to use your skills when we talk about that. Remember, you have a skill called disagreeing appropriately. Let's use that skill. Let's get calm and seek to understand, and then we'll have a conversation about it. So you show them what skill to use to get your attention, to be able to discuss it, and then you can have further conversation about fairness, about the cookie, about whatever it is that is bothering the child. If fairness battles are a theme in your home, you're not going to want to miss the next video, which is called The Calm Parenting System That Makes Boundaries Stick. You'll get a lot more skill development there that should help you going forward.